Hello, and welcome to this tutorial on how to find government employment data and research using FRASER. Just to give you a little information about myself, my name is Andrea M. Wade, and I am a graduate student in the Master of Library and Information Science program at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. I am also an instruction design graduate assistant in UH Manoa's School of Nursing and Dental Hygiene, as well as a reference intern at Hamilton Library. So let's go ahead and get familiarized with the database we will be using. We're going to be learning how to use FRASER, which stands for Federal Reserve Archival System for Economic Research. The online database is a project created and maintained by the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, which has been collecting and preserving information since the late 1950s. Digital access began in 2004. FRASER's goal is to preserve economic history, specifically that of the Federal Reserve. It holds many economic and banking and policy documents, from publications of the Federal Reserve System to economic data, publications, and statistical releases. There's really a lot of great information contained on this website. For this tutorial, I am focusing on how to find employment data using different tools on this website. But of course, this database is great for a variety of economic topics, so if your economic research is on a different topic, hopefully this video will be a good introduction on how to locate any information on the site. So right now we are going to take a look at FRASER. As you can see, there's a ton of information on this database from presidential papers, which are found under the archival collections, to information about the Federal Reserve and more. Some records date back to the 18th century. In our case, we're looking for employment data, and FRASER contains the bulletins of the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics back to 1895. So here's how we can find them. So first, we can go to Economic Data and then look for a bulletin in the list below. Okay, so that's what we want. When we click on the link, we get information about it, which pops up on the right side of the screen. And if we click on About, we get information that lets us know that this has been a published series since 1912, and it begins with report number 101. And if we look at Get, we can see that we can download an XML and a JSON file. These are not really useful, so we can go ahead and avoid these. But you'll see that above it says Go to One Item, and this is where we want to click. Now, if we scroll down, we can see that there are many different titles we can click on and browse through. And the very first title that we see is Bulletin of the United States Bureau of Labor, numbers 1 through 100. So this predates the series we clicked on. If we wanted to view this, however, we simply click on this title, and this will give us bulletins dating back to 1895. So if we go click here, then we can see the volume dating back to 1895 and then moving forward. But maybe you want specific information on an certain employment topic. So weaving, for instance. Let's go ahead and type in weaving in the search box, and let's see what comes up. So we can see that we have some information about the dangers to workers from dust and fumes and methods of protection. This is about weaving in factories. This was published in 1913. Then we also have a code of lighting, which was number 331. That was published in 1923. So as you can see, we can find a lot of information just by looking for a certain topic. But another way to do a search is to use the single search box at the top of the web page. So here you can search by keyword, title, or author. And I just want to show what kind of information shows up when you enter employment. So we'll go ahead and type in employment, click search. And as you can see, we get over 23,000 results, so that's quite a bit. But we can further refine these results by date, and by title, by author, by subject, by genre. And if we go to filter by date, we get some interesting results. So let's go ahead and click on this first one, the 1789. That's an old report. And that one is an excerpt from the American State Papers. It's not the Bureau of Labor Statistics. This was published by the Department of Treasury. but it still has information about the number of poor increasing for want of employment. So that might be interesting for some people. If we were to go back and try to refine by author, you'll see that we have 1,052 authors and 467 subjects. So this might get a little unwieldy, but that's okay, because remember, if you want to do an author search, we can use the search box at the top of the screen. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and type in, we'll click author, then we're going to type in Bureau of Labor, not Bureau of Labor Statistics, because our author is actually the Bureau of Labor, and we can see what reports will come up. And as you can see, we've now got all of the reports that have been published by the Bureau of Labor, starting with 1895 and then moving up towards, let's go ahead and click on more, and that will give us, wow, we have to scroll quite a bit. It will give us all the way up to 2015. So this has all of these different results. Now you'll also notice there are 4 browsing options underneath the search box here. One for title, one for author, date, and theme. And if I click on title, I get a list of all of the titles available on this website. And if we click on B and then scroll down, we can eventually find the bulletin right here, the Bulletin of the United States Bureau of Labor. And if we click on E and scroll down, we can find some titles on employment as well. Now, theme browse is similar to a subject browse, and there are 32 themes available, including one on employment, which contains 7 items. The items will appear expanded underneath, and then you can click on the title to access the item in the right column. Now, not everything about employment is contained here, so you could also search the theme economic data, which is right above employment right here. And this will give you additional information. So this is also the same page where we began our search for the Bulletin of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which, if you recall, is accessible from the menu right here. So this is the same thing. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to get an actual report from FRASER. And in this case, I want to look for a report from 1931. So I'm going to go and search for the Bureau of Labor Statistics under author. And then we want to go over here to filter by date, show more. And I'm going to scroll down to 1931, and you can see we've got 18 items from there. Then we've got the first one is wages and hours of labor in the cigarette manufacturing industry. That sounds pretty interesting. The next one is labor conditions in the territory of Hawaii, 1929 to 1930. That was published in 1931, so that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and click on that one. And as you can see, the document begins to load, and we can view it in this window. If it would be easier for you, you can go ahead and click download, but I'm just going to go ahead and use this window. Click here. This is to click on view full screen, and then I'm going to zoom out a little bit because that's a little bit big for me. Now, for some reason, this scroll bar doesn't work well for me on here, so I'm just going to have to scroll like this. Can't press the down arrow, but we can see this very long report, and that's how you view a report in FRASER. One criticism I do have about this database, and I am sure this might bother some researchers, is that alternate title searching is not allowed. So for example, if we look at the economic data underneath employment and earnings, states and areas, we can see that there are alternate titles. So one might assume that means that if I search for one of these alternate titles, I should retrieve them. However, if I search, let's see, we're going to do this one here, employment, hours, and earnings, in the search box, and select title, with or without commas, I will get 0 results. Therefore, if you are conducting a search by title, you will want to make sure you check all possible alternate titles beforehand so you can search multiple titles. The database may contain an item you want, but it could be under a different title, and if you don't have the correct title, you may miss it. And now if you need additional search help, you can use the How to Use FRASER link at the bottom of the FRASER website. And this provides very detailed instructions for each search type and collection item. So due to time constraints, I could not cover everything on the website, but I hope this gives you a good basis to do your own searching. And some additional databases and websites to look at for economic and employment data are FRED, Alfred, Census.gov, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and specifically the Bureau of Labor Statistics new data finder that they are testing. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. Good luck on your searches, and please comment below if you have any additional questions or need help. Aloha!